Matt, a disappointing scoreline ultimately here against Bristol Rovers. What are your thoughts on what you've seen from your team today there?
I felt, were comfortable in the game. We most definitely had the better moments up to the point at which they score, which is avoidable. But we weren't ruthless enough in the final third. So we created chances again today. I think we've created 12 chances and we haven't scored again. So we're getting in those areas. We were on top for the majority of the game until they scored. And you concede a goal. We concede a goal from a mistake. And it puts a pin in all of the hard work that you've been doing. So, except that now we haven't scored enough goals. So, must look at that and we must accept that and address that. So the players are understandably upset that we've lost a game of football, where I feel it should be a 0-0 at worst for us. But, you know, Joe and his team and his staff will be happy. It's the perfect away performance for them. They've hit us on the counter-attack and scored from set play. When at the end of the game, we are chasing. But what you have to understand is that for large parts, if not all of that game, we were in total control. But when you're in control like that, you have to score, and we didn't. So you know, I think that's the last 4 games we haven't scored, and that's a concern because I feel we've got players within the squad that are capable of scoring. So what we have to do now is make sure that when Tuesday night comes and we get those opportunities, we take them. And that's on us as a group of staff, that's on the players as a group, not necessarily the forward players, it's on the players as a group. We need to be better in those final third entries. But then we also need to be better at understanding the state of the game. So we didn't understand the state of the game well enough today. And what I mean by that is we're in the ascendancy. I think a minute after Shay Dunkley gets grabbed around the neck and thrown to the floor in what, in my opinion, from where I was, should be a penalty, the perpetrator puts the ball in the back of the net. But that's football. I'm not complaining about the referee. I'm just telling you factually what it looked like. And that's the hand we're being dealt at the moment. I totally understand the supporters' frustration. I believe, or they should understand that our frustration is obviously huge. We've got to own that now as a group of staff. I'll own that as the head coach, and the players need to perform Tuesday.
Do you feel you're getting closer to things coming together in both boxes, at both ends of the field?
I'd like it if we were not having this conversation about are we getting closer. I feel that the players understand what we're asking them to do. They understand their roles, their responsibilities both in and out of possession. But then when those big moments arise, whether that's in our box defensively or in the opposition's box offensively, got to be better. Because that ultimately is the game. And I look there at what did Bristol do better than us. They took their chances and were more ruthless. We didn't. That's the game. So for all of the build between both boxes is obviously important, but we need goal scorers in their box, and we need people and players that are willing to do whatever it is to stop their players scoring. So, you know, lots for us to address. One thing I will say is that it's imperative the players on Tuesday night perform, because we've got to get back to positivity and winning football matches. The frustrations from the supporters are because we've lost 2-0 at home. That's not good enough, and I totally accept that and understand that. So therefore we need to make sure we're better.
All the goals you've conceded so far this season in League One have come in the second half. Is that just coincidence, or is there anything more to it, do you feel?
Something that we flagged up in the last 3 or 4 weeks. We've tried to change the training schedule, which means that I think the players were asking different things from them physically now than we were. I think when you can see goals, and having played in many a football game where that happens, it's mentality. So people get tired, players get tired, maybe they switch off, maybe they aren't doing what they were doing in the first half. So, of course, look, it's a concern because it's a trend. We're far enough into the season now to understand that trends are starting to appear. But regardless of whether you concede goals, we've got to score goals. That's the most important thing for me. And we've got players, I believe, who can do that and have done that this season. So we need to get back to doing that and get back to doing that very quickly.
Do you feel there were signs in that first half in particular of Dan Udo and Max Mata beginning to form an understanding?
Yes, totally. I thought the chances and the opportunities we had, we weren't clinical, but I think if you look at the two of them and where we're fortunate, we've got four what I would class as very good strikers for this level. Dan and Max got the shirt today. I thought Max, for the first 45 minutes, was really good. And then understandably, because of his lack of football, he wavered slightly. And then Kieran and Ryan come on. I thought that Tom Bayliss' reaction to being left out of the team was positive in terms of he made a difference when he came back onto the pitch. But listen, we understand it's a squad game and the players understand that. But what we have to do now is whatever team I pick on Tuesday night, in those big moments, those players that are on the pitch need to seize them.
It's always big calls whenever you select a team. Some big decisions to be made. Tom Bayliss has been pretty much a regular starter since he's been at the club. But is that a difficult one today to leave Tom and others out of the team?
It's the worst part of this job, that you have to make decisions that affect people, and it is a tough call, and that one was a tough call. Look, any time you leave a player out, it's difficult. I'm of the opinion that those players need to understand why they've been left out, and there will never be any player here that doesn't understand what's expected of them and why they're not in the team. Tom's reaction was good. He was extremely disappointed, but I felt that he was good. Ryan was extremely disappointed, but his reaction was very good. Look, we haven't got a huge, massive squad. What we have got, I believe, is players who are in competition with each other for a shirt on a Saturday. The challenge will be whoever gets the shirt Tuesday, keep it for Saturday. So that's always been the challenge for me when I was a player. If you get the opportunity to play, go and keep that shirt. But yes, it is and was and will be moving forwards the most difficult part of the job when you leave players out.
Yep, you're in action again on Tuesday, EFL Trophy time once more against Brighton under-21s. What are your early thoughts about that one, Matt? Obviously beaten in the first group game at Forest Green, so with a view at progression, again, you really need to be looking to win.
Yep, really simple. We want to win that game of football. What does winning do? It builds momentum. We need to win that game of football. So pick the strongest team that we can to go and win a game of football. So my thoughts are it will be a cagey affair. I think that, and I hope that, our players and the lucky ones that are selected go and perform. Because as I say, we want and have and will take this competition seriously. So we're going to do that Tuesday night. It will be a different test for us. It will be a different game. And I have no doubt that there will be different players on the pitch. So what they've got to do is those that play, they need to go and keep the shirt.